What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Ladies, Leans, Likes, and Locks NBA Western Conference, Eastern Conference Finals. We're starting with the Eastern Conference, of course. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. The YouTube woods that will be covering my Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals. I had to throw that out there. But first, producer Jacob's Boston Celtics. We've got game one in, well, I almost said the Garden, but it is technically the Garden, right? Right in Boston. Whatever. They are massive, ridiculous favorites here in this spot. Gigantic. Minus 900. Best available to get out of the series. If you want to back that number, best of luck to you. But we're going to look at this on a game-by-game basis. Did end up betting Minnesota minus 160 to win the series for whatever it's worth in the Western Conference side. Just a small play on that one because, again, Minnesota, I've got my 25-1 tickets on them. I've got my futures tickets. I'm here to win it with my Timberwolves. But we're going to be looking at Boston and Indy first. Before we get into that, though, of course, if you're looking to find some extra plays, things that aren't necessarily just from my card, from my betting card, and, well, they're going to be positive EV, which is a market-based approach, check out Odd Shopper right now. $14.95 weekly, $49.95 monthly. If you use promo code Lindy, bang, 20% off of that for your first week or first month. That'd be $42 for your first month, or just $12 to try us out for a week. I'm firing up MLB every Monday through Friday in there, throwing in NBA bets that have been very profitable, such as, laddering up some stuff in some good places, feeling awfully good, feeling awfully nifty about everything that we've put together in Odd Shopper, and it's only getting better, friends. We've got some great tools that are getting introduced daily to help you out to find the best markets, of which our tools are the best and most efficient at. That was a lot of wording. Just basically say, hey, come hang out with me in that premium Discord and check out our tools because they're the best. Sign up down below. Great stuff. And with that, friends, it is Western Conference and Eastern Conference Finals time, starting in the Eastern Conference. Pacers, Celtics, producer Jacob. Let's get to the picks. Welcome, friends. We have plus 9.5 going the direction of Indy. Plus 10 is the other available spot. You could get 10 if you really wanted it on the Pacer side. Let me know if you do. They're heading into Boston. The prohibitive favorites, again, minus 900 series odds. Indy, you could get 6-1, which we're going to pass. Just going to throw that out there. Boston, friends, we backed nonstop throughout these playoffs. Went 4-1 against the spread in that first series. Hit a hiccup in those last two games, lost by the hook in games 4 and games 5, ended up going 2-3 against the spread there on the Celtics. So not that I've soured on it. I mean, we've gone 7-4 backing Boston. That's a pretty good ratio. You give me 7-4, you're going to be one of the best sports bettors of all time going forward. If you just keep hitting 7-4 on every single spread bet, could you imagine that in the NFL? They would anoint you king of all, and you would reign overall. But anyway, that's conversation for a different day. Some people think that what gets spewed out on Twitter is realistic. Again, we're trying to hit, if you had 60%, that would be outrageous in terms of long-term EV for spread bets in the NFL, in the NBA, so on, so forth. But anywho, we are going to be looking at leans, likes, locks. This is how I do things. If it's your first time joining us, leans, those are things I'm thinking about betting. In this case, not something that's on my card, but I'm thinking about it. Likes, those are going to be plays that you can definitely take to the bank that I've truly bet already. Quarter unit, half unit, depends on these single game slates. Sometimes the locks aren't just jams, but in this case, I do have a full unit on the lock play. And it's very ironic because Pacers, Boston, 222 total is very different than everything we just saw Boston with. We saw them play Miami. We saw low 200s totals throughout that series. We saw Cleveland with pieces missing towards the end of that series. Karis LeVert, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, all out for that game 5. Boston coasts. Of course, no Kristaps Porzingis. That's a little bit of a bummer. We'll get into why I think that's going to end up mattering here in this series. Well, other than it's just Kristaps Porzingis, and not going to matter in terms of like Boston getting to the finals, I believe. Again, if you think that Boston is somehow not going to get to the finals, just bet this and don't worry about plus 350 over here. Just take the extra 250 and run with it. It's going to be very tough. Now, we've seen them lose back-to-back game 2s at home, Boston, but in these game 1s, they've definitely put the gauntlet down. I think they do again here, but I'm a little bit scared off of the spread. So let's just start it this way. My lean for this game, it is the very first of the entire Boston Celtics series, or of these entire playoffs, if you will, that I have not backed them on the spread yet. Now, we've seen 10, 9.5, 10, 9.5. This got to 9 or 8.5. I would definitely be interested. But I think the Pacers, when you start ramping up the pace, Tyrese Halliburton's looked healthier, and the shooting of Miles Turner is kind of the big X factor to me of this entire series. If Indy is going to be competitive, and again, they only need to be competitive here to really screw up Boston 9.5. I think Miles Turner, the way he's shooting the ball in these playoffs, that is going to be a massive X factor. I bet we talk about that a little bit later here. But the main reason that minus 9.5 isn't where I want to be going here is that Boston props have basically gotten nuked up already to account for the fact that the Pacers are playing at a breakneck pace. They just made New York play track with them in Game 7, and, well, they won. That's how Indy goes out and wins. This is how I win. Now I want to watch Uncut Gems. But anyway, what we don't see are a nuke up of the props on the Indy side. And as such, I think that there's two that really stand out. And there's actually one from the Boston side that I think we still want to be dabbling with a little bit. Now, I have a little bit more on the TJ McConnell side here to begin off the lights. Now, points props have routinely been where we have made our hay here, and it hasn't just been star players jam them, although we have had Donovan Mitchell make a nice appearance here for us and smash likes into the stratosphere. We've had Miles McBride be the hero that Gotham deserves. We're going to miss him. So long, soldier. Miss you already. Dante DiVincenzo was a god amongst men with the ladder. But TJ McConnell, I think him and Peyton Pritchard, obviously it's like the Spider-Man gif. I tweeted that out yesterday, so I'm not reinventing anything. But I do think that there's going to be interesting minutes for both of them. It's going to be funny watching them match up to some extent. I think they probably guard each other quite a bit when they're out on the floor in the second units. But I've Peyton Pritchard in for 22 minutes. I've TJ McConnell in for 22 minutes. I truly think they play about the same role for these teams. And TJ McConnell's just been awesome. When he's on the floor, the usage has been there. The opportunities have been there. And now they're playing him next to Tyrese Halliburton for meaningful minutes. And for me, that's the big change here on why I want to put a little bit more on his side of things. Now, he's been efficient. 6 for 8, 7 for 13, 3 for 8, 6 for 12. He's got up to 24 and 21 minutes of 2 of their last 4 games. But the big thing is seeing the side-by-side minutes with Tyrese Halliburton. I think there's going to be some more of that that's set up for this series with Drew Holiday, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard. Now, the one play that I don't really know why it didn't get a bump up and everybody else did. We saw Jaylen Brown up to 24.5. We're seeing Jason Tatum 29.5 or 30, which are higher for his points props. Why is Drew Holiday at 12.5 in this matchup? He averages 12.2 for the season, but that was for the season where he played 33 minutes per game. He's played 43 and 41 minutes their last 2. Obviously, those are, game 4 of implications, game 5 to close it out. But 12.5 is a little bit auspiciously low, if you ask me. I'm not going to nuke this one, and part of it is Peyton Pritchard is going to be playing some minutes alongside of him. When Peyton Pritchard's on the floor, his goal is to score the basketball. That is what he is there to do. 4 for 7, 3 for 5, 3 for 4 from 3 of the last 2. I mean, overall, Peyton Pritchard been playing rotational minutes where otherwise might not have been. Now, Sam Hauser, we got to get that guy involved a little bit here, don't we? A little bit. Him and Luke Cornett, I think right around 12 minutes apiece for anybody who's trying to find those ancillary props that we've been taking advantage of. But I think TJ McConnell, over 9.5 points. I like it a little bit more than I like for Drew Holiday. But if you're playing pick'em sites, if you're playing other spots, I do think that these are contrarian spots for like a DK pick 6 or something like that. You could really make your hay going towards overs of not star players and maybe looking at some less on a Tatum 29.5. I won't be doing that. As of right now, we'll see what some opening numbers are tomorrow. But with that said, before we get to the lock, check out BetMGM. Again, this is a great opportunity to check out a sports book, fire up any of these plays that I've talked about here today, or even further, find some big plus money dogs that you can take some real shots on. That's going to help your EV on a play like this. But whether it's $50, $100, up to $1,500 is coming back to you in bonus bets when you sign up at the link below for BetMGM. We've had an amazing play-in tournament and playoffs so far. I want to keep it rocking here for you. One of the ways you can do that, just signing up at new sports books, trying out new stuff. Again, Not anything for me personally, but it allows for this program to continue churning. $1,500 first bet safety net. Get your bonus bets if your first bet loses. Only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, to the lock we go. Producer Jacob. Miles Turner, talked about him a little bit earlier, but one of the main things I want to point out is Al Horford is not young. Does that surprise anybody? I don't think it surprises anybody here, but one thing that didn't happen during the regular season is his minutes getting ramped up to 35, 36 a game. Now, Boston made short work of both of those series, 5 games against Miami, 5 games against Cleveland. That is what they needed to do with Kristaps Porzingis on the shelf and allow Indy and New York to go duke it out for 7 games, have Indy emerge. And now, Al Horford, we're going to see minutes for him alongside, well, not alongside, but you're going to see him and Luke Kornet have to play the lion's share and the entirety of the center minutes, if you will. This bodes really well for Miles Turner, who, if you watched the last few games, his shooting efficiency went through the moon against the Knicks in a tough defensive spot. And this is eerily similar because, again, Al Horford defensively, still pretty decent. Again, 65th percentile on dunks and threes, plus 0.0 in terms of estimated plus minus. So still a little bit above average, just baseline, pretty good stuff. He's been good shooting the three yet again this season, 42% for three, but we're not worried about that. We're worried about Miles Turner. Now, Miles Turner did not have the best season shooting the three ball pretty much through and through. He's traditionally been a pretty good outside shooter, but 35.8% from three, that's below the 50% mark of everybody in the entire National Basketball Association. And the usage, 23.6%. While that is a career high for him, it's a little bit lower here with Pascal Siakam joining the party. So why am I going to be backing Miles Turner over 15.5 points plus 1.5 threes? Easy put. He has got the best matchup on the floor right now. I understand that might not be, common thinking, but the way that I'm going through this, but Pascal Siakam dealing with these wings, I think that's going to be a difficult spot. And Tyrese Haliburton will, for all intents and purposes, be in hell with Drew Holiday and Derek White. I think Miles Turner is the guy who really, if Indy is going to be competitive in the series, shoot the ball the same way he just did against the Knicks. 2 for 3 from 3, 1 for 3 from 3, 4 for 7, 3 for 3, 2 for 5. In fact, in those last 5 games, did not have a single game where he didn't at least attempt 3 threes. And then he knocked down a bajillion of them through and through. So Miles Turner, friends, the usage has been up a little bit, ever so slightly. He's been extremely efficient with his touches, averages 17 points per game on the regular season where he was playing 27.5 minutes per game. And yeah, Boston, it's a tough spot, but this is a 222 total. It's not like a 0. And again, he has the best matchup on the floor. In any minutes Luke Kornet is out there next to Miles Turner, best of luck to you, Luke Kornet. He might actually be more. We'll see. We'll see how this ends up playing out in the game 1, but I want to be early to the party. We'll actually take a 20 plus 3 stance on him as well, but over 15.5 points, over 1.5 threes together, Miles Turner, take 5 plus 3s and I'll feel like a win here no matter what happens, but I think he gets some clean looks. I think he's got the best matchup on the floor right now. That's the main reason that I'm not going to be backing Boston 9.5. I like the prop exposure a little bit more. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know what you think of my locks. Well, my likes, plural, my lock, singular. There we go. Producer Jacob, thank you so much. We're going to be alongside you here for Wednesday, too, talking my Minnesota Timberwolves and the Dallas Mavericks. I can't wait. But we got 50% of our team. Again, Jacob and I's teams counting for 50%. The favorites to be in the NBA Finals. Ho, 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 ho. Maybe Jacob has to make a trip up to Minnesota for an NBA Finals game. I think I'm going to be going to Game 5. Spoiler alert. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals, Game 1 on Tuesday. See you Wednesday.